Okay, let's, I think, start the beginning of the mitzvah. Shizhinu mitzvah ha'arba v'chamishim. Ashor number 54. He shizhinu meharchik zera amolet. To distance them. That's the translation, proper translation of the word, losasayim. And the word zera is l'chor la bedafka because Esav depends upon holachach azocho. To say that we're talking about the peculiar case of after Gerus, that it's Ram says by Mizgairu, if you have a taroivis of a Amoni and an Admei or whatever it is, the Ram says after Gerus Apochrus, the Ram in Hilchis Isui Bia Perigid Beis Alef. That's a little difficult. And the Ram uses the same expression by Zera, by Amalek. And it's also more in the Bukhari is very clear that it depends upon the Zocher. So I'm not sure what the word Zera over here means. So that's why I'm just very hesitant to say anything. So, the nice thing to say is, that it depends upon the Keva, but the Rambam in the Bukhari would push not like that, and almost so it would be a very strange thing. I don't know. Okay, next. So we don't know this halchik. We'll see about it a little bit later as we go through all the pshatim, but we don't know what lahalchik is to distance him. Acha hachnososam bedos, it's after Gerus. So not to distance the Edomite after Gerus. So here, what's the pshat in this? Shanachnu musholim mehalchik chitunom. We can't distance marrying them. So this sounds like a very, very interesting lav, because we find lavim they are not allowed to marry someone, but here the lav is not to distance yourself from marrying them or to be married to them. So this becomes very confusing from 2 points, okay? And just not only here, but in Mishnah Torah, the Ram does something amazing in Mishnah Torah. At least I think it's amazing. You see, the Minyan HaMitzvah Kotzer and the Prote Mitzvahs are a broad outline of the topics the Ram is going to discuss in the halacha. And if you recall, in fact, the Rambam said in Akdama to Sefer Mitzvas that what he really wants to do is to include all Mitzvahs HaTorah. So he lists them, and in the halachas he discusses all Mitzvahs HaTorah. The halachas are basically telling you the Protei Dinim of called Taryag Mitzvahs. So I would have told you a priori that the Ram has a mitzvah which he only discusses in the Protei Mitzvahs, and in the halachas proper, he doesn't talk about them at all. Someone would have told me that. I would say that's impossible. That's absurd. But that's exactly what happens over here. The Rambam in Hilchos Isurei Bia, in the Prote Mitzvos, quotes the Lav. Okay. And when it comes to the halachas in Perek Yud Beis, he only talks about the isaseh of marrying a Admei or a Mitzri in the first 2 generations. But he doesn't talk about a lav to be machik them afterwards. Okay, so that, I don't have any answer, but that l'chayra, that's darsheni, to say the least. Okay. So that's one, okay? So the Rambam has a lav over here, okay? And we have no clue of what you're supposed to do in order to be over the lav. What's lahachik? Say, shove them away. Who's getting married? What are you supposed to do? It doesn't say anything, okay? That's okay. And then in Mishnah Torah, he doesn't mention, he mentioned the Prote Mitzvos, and the Min HaKotzi mentions it, but in the halachas itself, he doesn't say anything. Okay, beseder. So the truth is, the one who actually tries to suggest how you violate the law is the Sefer. Okay, let's see what he says. But the Ram doesn't say anything. Lahachik. What it means, you made a shidduch and they're about to come to the chuppah, and he says, "Oh, you're an Adomi." How do you do it? So comes the chinuch, and Mitzvah Tov Kuf Samach Dalet. V'al tishma midvorenu sheniya mitzuvim. He flips it the opposite way. So maybe you should say that Michlal Lav Atashmei Hein Yimuchiv to marry the Adomi. So he says you shouldn't say that. V'al tishma midvorenu sheniya mitzuvim l'schatin im haMitzri o im hu Adomi. Acha shloisha deiros. She'en kavonas hakosu letzavoseinu lehischaten imom chalila. Okay. V'hamishpochas hamiyuchosas from Yisrael lo yerdu mimalosam lehischaten imoem. Okay, this I don't catch. Yoshua Ben Nun married Rochav Azayna. I don't know exactly. I guess he wasn't in Mishpachas HaMiyuchosas. I don't. Okay, we say that. HaMishpachas HaMiyuchosas Sheb Yisrael lo yerdu mimalosam l'schaten imoem. Avol yimanenu hakosuv me'alchi chituna. Okay, so now we're not any smarter than we were before. We just know that there's no mitzvah to get married to them. Okay, but you wouldn't expect us to allow you. There's a way to violate something. Okay, so he says, "Betainas Isa." They say, "I guess I really want to marry this guy, or I really want to marry her, but it's awesome. It's doch Admei, מצרי, or something like that. Mehachi chituna betainis Isa. What the lav is to misrepresent the Torah. V'yodienu she'ein bohem Isa klal. So v'yodienu, and you should tell what, and that you should say that there's no Isa. It's not only you shouldn't. I don't know. There's a b'chlal lava tashmei hein. Not that you should marry, but you should be modeya. There's no Isa. Not only the lav is you enjoin from a tiny Isa, but you should modeya. It's a very strange thing. Okay, good. Continue. It's the Uisi ben Padish, Shiyoshi Viderish, Moshe Piagvura. What's chat and Posik? What's the lav? Ukmoshi Kasafti Lamaila Besamuch. Okay. So first of all, I doubt it. It's see, the question is it my feelings or what the Adomi? It's almost like a lav of onas volume to the it's the way he feels afterwards, or it's my take on it. Let's say he doesn't believe, he doesn't say anything. There is an Isa. I know, it's very strange to assume you need an Amira for the Isa, but and then I'll ask you a different question. Let's say he says, I know there's no Isa. Okay. I know there's no Isa. But historically, these Edomites, what they did to Klal Yisrael on the way going out of Mitzrayim, or the מצרי, how they gave us Makis and what they did to us, it's Gefelach. I don't want to have anything to do with these people. Okay. So I would say, if you're ready to accept the chinuch, why not accept this? It's that tiny Isla. Because the pasuk says he kiochichu. So l'chayre, any taina to be machim should have been a problem. Okay, but I guess you're allowed to machak him because he's a ger, or he's a. I'm not sure how this fits in with everything. But I'm not sure the chilo. You don't have to marry the guy. You should make him feel bad. You should not marry him. In other words, you want to do business with an Admei, okay? You say, I don't want to do business with you because you're an Admei. That's not a problem. The problem is chitun. Where does it say chitun? It doesn't. The person says lo yisayim. Okay, so then I guess you assume that since this is let's say a postscript to the discussion of the Dor Shlishi, Yovo, and lo yisas the Saib, so it goes on that. So it's like in other words, it's from context that you understand that this is what's happening. I assume. I didn't see too much discussion about this, but there's a lot in the Torah, and the Rambam doesn't tell you anything about it, except in the Prate Mitzvahs in front in Hilchos. I'm not sure. It could be in many of the Rayos also. He mentions in front that there's an Isigos. I'm not sure if he mentions each one explicitly as a lav and what the lav is. I'm not sure. You have to go through the beginning of Hilchos Yisrael, all come to it Met Hashem as we get through further the lavim. But over here, certainly, you have this issue. Okay, Mesela. And what would be if he doesn't have any thoughts about marrying the person? Okay, L'cheira, if he says, I don't want to marry you, even though he never, it wasn't in the parish at all. But he just, someone mentioned the shidduch for him, and personally he doesn't like her or whatever it is. So he just says, he violates the law because of that. Or he doesn't mean it, or he says, I'm just not sure, it's a very strange thing. You have a lot of mitzvahs. We don't know exactly what it is. Okay. Now, this lav, reading the Torah, you could have said anything. Lo Shesayim Adoimi, Lo Shesayim Mitzri. Well, the mice is it's not only the Rambam that interprets a lav like this, and not only the Chinuch, okay, but in the Sefer Mitzvah Sadigain. This is in the he has Perich of Hay, which the Shar of Gerim, which the Shar of Gerim. So they didn't Gerim. Ulam, Misha his Gaye me Esov, Umin HaMitzrim, HaKedumim, HaKadmoinim. So he's very careful because Boss Hanchel Bilbos Umois. So he says, "Man, mitzvah kadum." You find out and point out, and Novi tells you, "Oh, that's the HaMitzri." Yimone mikishrei chitun shnei doires. He's not allowed to marry for 2 doires. Uliacha mikan yisarev. He can, his family can be intertwined with them. כפי שאומר, לא יססייב אדוימי כי הוכיחוהו, לא יססייב מצרי כי גר יישא בארצו. בונים אשר יבולדו להם דור שלישי יבואי להם בקהל השם. See here, if you look at it, it is very confusing, and the upside going also. You see, certainly in the Piyut Nasos, Mitzri v'Adoimi ad Shlosha mehavi l'Shlosha Deres Hichshir Mitzri v'Adoimi. So it's almost like the Ram in Mishnah Torah. It only talks about that when the Isa is, but doesn't tell you what the Lav is. Okay. Now, I just want you to read it, and I'm just even in the text over here of Sadigain. I know that there's an Isa of 2 Deres, but what's the Lav? Let's read it again. Ulam Mishis Gaye me Esov umin HaMitzrim HaKadmoinim Yimona mikishrei chitun shnei deres. Uliacha mikan yisarev. What, it's a heter? And the lav is to deny the heter? He doesn't tell you anything. Kfi she'omar lo yisesayim adomi ki yochichohu. Lo yisesayim mitzri ki gero yisem b'artzoi. Bonim asher yivoldu lehem dor shlishi yovu lehem b'kal Hashem. So I'm not sure. He's counting the lav. He's counting the asay. There is a lav. I just don't know what happened here. Because according to, you just have to understand, Rav Sadi's opinion is, in Minyan, there's no difference between a lav and an asay, and he disagrees with the 6 shorish, that, if you have a lav and an asay, which are basically the same, Rav Sadi counts it as 1. So, I'm not sure what happened because he basically talks about the Isa say, he doesn't talk about the lav at all. Okay. So the truth is the Ram Mishnah Torah is like that also in the halachas. But after Shir Shishi and he has a lav in the Partei Mitzvahs, you can't do that. So I'm not sure what happened over here. But upside you're going to certainly knowing that this, whatever it is talking about chitun. Now comes the Ramban in Dvom Chav Gimel Zayin. V'nei Hashem shomar levnei loit schus avim sheliva es nevioi. That's Avrom Avinu. B'derech asher sholcha Hashem in lechecho me'artzecho l'chein in chilom minachlas Avrom. V'henish is bona b'chetem shel yidbuku b'Yisrael. That's Amar Moyev. V'chein ha-Mitzrim hirchikom shloishet dereis b'pnei Rishon asher osu oimonu lo israbis v'tzorois. Avol lo yisayiv oisam la'olam. Ba'avur sheyinu gerim be'artzah. V'nimlatnu imohem b'mei horo'ov v'chovod she'osu la'avinu v'imlichu aleihem mimenu kotzinu Moshe. Yosef, okay, Besela. So it's clear, Avulo Yisayiv Oisam La'olam, it's something at the Rambam, but he in no way tells you how you violate the law. The only one who says anything is the Chinuch. V'chein osim edoim, shomalem schus ovois, shohoyim mizera kodesh. Esav was also mizera kodesh, the Yisrael Meshumad, but he was born after the bris. It's a child of Yitzchak. Say that. V'chikom shleishet dereis babush yotz l'kosena b'cherev v'leizochu bris achim v'kabol. Now listen to this. We'll come back to that later, but Kabbalah we'll see. V'kabol m'rabiseinu he ain't dos. Okay, we'll see about this Kabbalah. We'll see about that later. Blineda. Let's go. There are a few other pshatim. Okay, that you find. If we want to be, you want to learn Chumash, you look at the Targum Mamyuchas Liyonason, or it's a Targum Yushalmi, whatever you want to call it. Okay, he says like this: Vom Chav Gimel Ches. Lois rachakun adoimo the osi lihis gaira. He's not after the gairus. He's on his way to be misgair. You shouldn't shove him away. Harum achuchanhu lois rachkin mitzro the osi lihis gairo. Harum dayoin havesum be'arahom. Is you can't, you enjoin from not accepting a ger Mitzri Adomi because they're an Adomi and because they're Mitzri. Okay? So I would say the same. You enjoined from not married because the question, what does that mean? Okay, again. Next, that is the Targum Yushalmi, the Targum Yonason, whatever you want to call it. Okay? Mayuchas Yonason. We don't know Yonason wrote a Targum on Chumash, at least from the Gemara and Megillah. Okay? Now, there's a whole different approach. In the in the Gainim or the Friedrich or Rishonim, I don't know what you call them, in the Ashoris, the Ri Albi Geloni, he writes in the Minyan Alavim, Tzvi Haaretz Logo, Bebo Mitzri V'Adomi, Ki Gero Yisi B'Artzo, V'Yotzi Alecho Dibo, Tzel Korosi, Boso Logo, V'Keavticha B'Chibo, Kechesa Shasisi Moch, Tasi Modi, V'Im Haaretz Asher Garta Bo. And Yuchel Pearl learns that he's referring to the law of Lo Yisasai V'Adomi and Lo Yisasai Mitzri. And he quotes Rabbi Yuchel Pearl in the law of Lo Yisasai Reish Samach Dal Reish Samach Hey from Maram Muati, and that there's a law that if a Adomi and a Mitzri want to live in Eretz Yisrael, you can't shove them away from living there. And that's what the pasuk writes: "Ki ger yisi ba'altzai, or yisi ba'altzai." Yeah, okay. So he says this is what the Rash, in Gabriel is Hazor shekosav lo yisai Mitzri b'vor lemegurim, lo yisai b'adoim b'vor lidoimi ayin shom. Okay. Now I just want to quote something. Now, how does this work? How does this work? This is the important thing over here. I want to read you this part of it. He explains very well what's going on. It's not the way the Rambam or the Ramban learn it, or it was a question society is going on what's written after of Dor Shlishi Yovo, or it's going on the Psukim before. Okay, so here is a very important question. When you have something which you have no clue of what it's talking about, the way to interpret it is interpret from context. But the issue is which context? The context of the Psukim afterwards, or the context of the Psukim before? So he says, it's going on those things which are mentioned before. Which we'll get to, well, maybe we'll get to tonight. Okay. Jedoshu B'Sifri, which is going on Amoini Moavi, Jedoshu B'Sifri, Michlal Shnema Imcho Yeshem, Kir B'Chol B'Mokom Asher Yibchar, B'Mokom Asher Yibchar, B'Achad Shorecho B'Tov Lo Elokenenu, Yochel Avzeke. Talmud B'Tevosim. So that's Mitzri. Obviously, that's Moavi and Amoini Moavi. But Mitzri and Adomi is Imcho Yeshev. And Lo Yisayev means to be machikim from Imcho Yeshev. ועל זה, חוסר פלא במצרי ואדמי, לא יססייב, כלומר, אויסם לא יסחק מעצמו, אבל אימכו ישב. So comes the Yuchel pull out and he says, wow, he says that he interprets from the Re Al Giloni, the Shimon and Gabriel, das Horis Elu Kaime Afilu Al Klevin this guy. That's all right with me, okay? But I just would add that it's after they became a ger toisha, because there's a law of the Eish Ba'altzach. So it's a small window of when we're talking about. And if he means dafka afterward, dafka before Geirus, I don't know, but L'cheira is we're talking about the point of a ger toishav and onwards. So that, see, the pshat of the you see, the pshat of the Targum of Yonason or Yerushalmi, whatever it is. So I can understand Lois Saev, Lois Sarachek, in Sarachek from Gerus. I can understand because that is the the uh, the the ichud of Klal Yisrael, the Gerus being part of Kakol, Ke'ezrach, Kager, and Yivchinumach. I can imagine such a thing. Okay. The pshat of that it's chitun because it goes on the mata. The kidol levi, excuse me, dor shlishi is yavo b'kal Hashem, and there's a law not to allow it or whatever it is, or it goes on the Milo on im choyeshev, whatever. Okay, say that. Now there's another pshat which I you know I don't know what to do with it. There seems to be there's a Rashbash which claims there's a law to go to war with Admei to take his land. Shad Shuvas Rashbash, Sim Memdalid, Mashisholu, Asholoim, Me Edoim, V'loyosu, Atem Milchomo, Vim Sig Chon Osu, Lefi Shedalkum Oisolo, Vuhu Mein Soines Israel, Avo B'Gvuloi, Vayet Yisrael Meolov, Lefi Shehu Achiv, V'oretz Nitna Lo B'Yerusha, Vashem Tziva, Lo Yisesayim Adaymi, V'yomer Teira Ki Eretz Esav Nosati Lo Yerusha. אבל בסיכו שלא ינוסן לא ירושוס, ויוסף כל עמוי, ונלחם מוישה אימוי, ולא ארץ כל ארצוי מיודוי. I'm not sure how fair this is because Sichon actually attacked and Esav didn't attack. They just went out with arm went out. So I'm not sure how fair this is, but this is what he presents, okay? Shaila showed me menu hoyisel the fisha outside eno michlal eretz Yisrael ve'eno mizayin amim ve'eno eretz ovas chol levosh lefichul hoyisel das Moshe Rabbeinu lochem boy aval kisherotze hu lilochem b'Yisrael nilchem by Moshe v'yilkanes kol outside miyod. So we don't know according to this what the law of Mitzri is. You're not allowed to because the Rambam clearly says in Ukhos Malachim that you're allowed to conquer the land and and you're allowed to live there afterwards. I'm not sure what he does. You'd assume that the law of Loisisayim is the it's not exer shofar. It's the same word. You don't need much. So I'm confused, but So the truth is. There is a problem that a priori you would have said, Lois is going this never would have said this, the pshat. Bichul Polo goes back and forth. How do you do this? What does it mean? Okay. But let me just, L'cheira, he points out, and there's an amazingly difficult Ramban. And I'm just going to share it with you, and I don't have any idea of what to do here. It's a Ramban in Bereishis. There are two Rambans. A Ramban later, and a Ramban in Bereishis. The Ramban in Bereishis is the one that sounds something like the Rashbash. He says like this: Bereishis Lamed Vav Yud Beis. V'tochein. We just had this a week of it. Ki b'nei Eliphaz hachamisha hoye yeduim loy. Ki olido minosho. Ve'amolek ba'avur Yosef ben Pilegesh lo hoye loy shem b'yochid. This is Ramban Shita that Pilegesh, it affects the children. Even a child is a child because the father fathers it. No, it's a different. Is he Pilegesh? It's a Isha. And by Goyim, it's not, it's a Plegish. We don't know what Plegish is because, the Ganzapul is Baal. Not getting involved in Yishalmi that they boil on the Isha Achas. Zoyna, the first one, she's married because, I don't know if you need Kavona. I'm not sure how this all works and what happens, but there's such a thing as Pilegish by Ben Noach, and there's such a thing as Noshev, and it affects the children, and the Amalek was a child of a Pilegish. So he says, Lo Yeshem B'Yochiv. Because he's a Ben Pilegish, Lo Yeshem B'Yochiv. Hoy Nichlal in B'nei Esav, Ba'avu Heyoisei Mizarah. So basically, he was Eliphaz, but the Pilegish, and therefore he basically is like from Esav. Okay. Boy nichlal in bnei Esav bavu hayosim mizarah. V'hutzach hakosav loima ki imo plonis asher hu noida lo yoladeto le'Eliphaz. Avol enenu nichlal bnei Esav. Enenu b'chlal bnei Esav. V'lo yoshev v'moyim ba'aseir. Ki b'bnei ha'gvirus yikol lo zera. V'lo b'nei Pilegish. He's not zera. He's not zera Esav. Okay. So maybe, according to the Ramban, I'm not sure, the Ram would go for this, but that's zera Esav to Umayit Amalek. Okay. Beseda. Ki lo yirash beno omo in bonov. He's playing around. He's using yirash beno omo between the leaf. Okay. Beseda. Okay. Kmoshe also ovid. B'hinei. Anachnu, listen to this. Anachnu savinu b'nei Esav shlo nisayeh b'Esav. Okay. She's quoting the law here. Okay. Correct? B'nei Esav is lois nisayeh. V'lo nikach es altzom. We also have a law to take their eretz milk. V'lo nikach es altzom. So there are two problems. There's a problem lois nisayeh, and a problem lois nikach es altzom, which was said by Esav. And zera Esav, but not Amalek. Beheim kol bonov hayeduyim loy hayoshim b'seir ki heim aniklim edom al shmo. Avo ben hapilegish eino b'chlal b'nei Esav v'loy imohem bi'altzom. Nothing to do with Seir. Hey, he's a son of a Pilegish. Doesn't have to do with Yerusha. Okay? I don't know, Teira, I don't know such a thing. Taste it. I don't know. V'nitztavinu boy behepech. L'ta'eb oisoi. V'limchois es shemoi. So what does it mean? What's the lehepech? The behepech of Esav with his tzivui on on Amalek. So if it's talking about Loisisayev, the Ramban and Chumash is the other place, so it wasn't doing anything. But if so we're supposed to take, but whatever it is, what's the opposite is the opposite that we're supposed to do to Esav, that we're not supposed to do to Esav, we have to do to Amalek. So that also doesn't make any sense. What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to do a Muhammad, that I understand, but we're supposed to take away his land? This is very odd. And Rabbi Yochanan asked the Kasha, Shahed Yiksiv, in Atem over Gvur B'nei Esav v'Shmartem Yoid Al Tizgol Bo Milchama. Ki lo yetei lochem me'altzom ad midrach kaf regel ki hu shli Esav l'sad. All you need a lavlo is a sahib. Tachshein a lavlo is Sisko. Al Tizgol Bo. I don't know what's going on here. And Rabbi Yochanan is also very, what can I say, very confused. Okay. Good. Beseder. So let's go on. I don't know what more to say. This is one of the most nebulous lav. You have a lav in the Torah, and you have no idea what it's talking about. And according to Ram's Klolim, that all mitzvahs were given, and lavin, tayag mitzvahs were given with the Torah Shabbat Peh. I don't know what happened to it here. There's not much Torah Shabbat Peh over here. It's just interpreting the pasuk from context. The pasuk, which context do you want? Okay, continue. Now, I'm sorry this is taking so long, but this, I want you to know, I can't imagine more difficult lav, because, you have no idea what's awesome. Next, it says, let's continue reading. It says, Lo Yisayv Adomi He Ochichohu. So Ochicha means in the broad sense, he's not your brother in the very specific sense that he doesn't have the same father and mother, but you are family because you share common ancestors. Rav Avram ben Rambam in Bereshis Chav Tes Yud Beis, Ki Ache Ovio, Va Yodato, we talk. Va Yodato Ki Ach Nema Bimuvon Kloli Ukroti. It's in the general sense, and it's in a specific sense. Umimuvono Yakloli Mashenema Lo Yisayv Adomi Ki Ochichohu. V'oma kan ach uvona kloli. There's some ki ben ki ache ovio. It means that they're related. They have shared common ancestor, but it's not really the brother of the father. V'shu bi'loi upiusha ki ben rivkahu. Ramban does the same thing. In Dvorim Beis Dalit, V'tam Achichem B'nei Esav, Sheyichos Yisrael min Avrom, V'chol Zarei Achim, Ki Kulam Hein Nimolim. It's interesting. It's not only sharing a common ancestor, but the Nimolim. And I guess Esav was also Nemo. Yisrael b'Shumad. I don't know exactly generations further, but the case. V'chol zaroi achim hikulam nimolim. I don't know how Zaro. I don't know. I'm not sure what this means. Okay. V'zeh tam lo yisayv adaymi ki ochichohu. Rak b'nei hapilakshim Yishmael u'Midian b'chol b'nei Ketura eno ba'achvo min hakos yitzchol chozora. Okay. Let's go on. Now, it's very clear this mitzvah is a mitzvah min mitzvahs. Correct? Mitzvah min mitzvahs. The pshuto shamikra, both according to the Bechor Shor and according to Ramban, the pshuto shamikra is 3 deires from Yitzias Mitzrayim. It's not a mitzvah deir, it's a ashor l'shor from when they went out of Mitzrayim. You count 2 deires, and there's bon mashivoldu, and there's a lav, but both of them not mean mitzvahs because of mitzvah l'shor. Comes Rabbi Seinu and say, no, there's a lav. B'chol shor, lefi. He says like this. Lefi apshat, or yenira, the shnei deris rishonim psulim lovo b'kahal. Ad sheyichlu kol oisam sheshibdu. B'chol oisam shehoy lehem lekadim v'lekidmu. Those people did the Averis, they did the thing. So, V'dor Shlishi Muta Afilu Ger Rishon. Dor Shlishi Hastam Gerus. The Eneklach of the door. There's no problem. Umiu Rabbi Seinu Pirshu Sheli Olam Posel Ze Lohem Shager Ubnoi Posel Vashlishi Kosher V'dik Midichsi Bonim V'deires V'shah Kolumois Afal Rishon Kosher. The Ramban Alatei also is the same thing as the last line, if you remember. V'kabol Rabbi Seinu Ki ein dor shlishi mimei Moshe avol kasher yizgayer echad mehem yovo hador shlishi shelo b'kal Hashem. So this all is discussion about the dor shlishi, about the lav sayev. I'm not sure if it's nagay at all. Let's say it would have been a mitzvah l'shah. You counted. Well, sayev l'chayv is nagay any. Is the minyan mitzvah benko? Correct? So this is a discussion about the asay. Just derech agav, the discussion in Isui B is even stranger. Okay, because the Rambam talks a lot about the isasay, which is not in minyan mitzvahs, of the and the lav he doesn't talk about, and he doesn't tell you why the asay is not minyan mitzvahs. He just tells you that the lav. Okay, next. So this is the end of this mitzvah. I want to just, I don't think there's much to talk about in the next law because it's basically the same as the law before, except you're going to take the Rashbash, which you don't know how they express itself in Mitzri. Well, I'll show you something. Now, here, I want to show you the three translations of this, and you'll tell me which one you think is better. I truly think one is better. Pishis halnu mehalchik HaMitzriim. Okay. Okay. Let's start with Kapach. Mehachik es HaMitzriim u'meisrachik melischatem bohem. Achesh nizgayu. So can I ask you what's the double talk over here? What are the two things? Mehachik es HaMitzriim u'meisrachik melischatem bohem. Achesh nizgayu. In the one before, Nishachik mehachik zera esav achash nizgayru. It's a very simple klema. Shana mushalim leval nisrachim nischatim bohem. So what happened over here? So that is kapach. That's kapach. Now, Ibn Tibin, Sholahachik HaMitzrim Uletayv Chitunom. So there are two things going on over here. That's impossible. So now there's another translation from Ibn Eov, which you remember I mentioned to you. Is another translator. He just never got published, but people tell me that it's a better translation than Ibn Tibin, okay? And he writes like this: Shehishalnu milahachik hamitzrim rotzaloima chanusonosom, to marry them. Acha hachnosom, hachnosom, achi konsom, achi konsom, bedos. So that makes sense. The double talk of the other two translations is very odd, unless you say that the Rambam is saying the same thing twice and is doubling it for emphasis. But the question is, why is he emphasizing the mitzvim and not the adayimim? If this one's more chashuv, less chashuv, doesn't make any sense. Okay. So that's what we have here. Now, now, this next sentence is just beyond me, okay? He has basically a sentence. The next sentence is a sequel, a postscript to both mitzvah 54 and 55. Okay? And the postscript is like this: Ba hisboru mishpatei shtei mitzvahs elu, kloima mishpatei Mitzri v'Adomi, b'shmini miyavomis, b'soif kiddushin. Okay. Now, this is beyond me. I don't know. Maybe I have a different text in the Gemara Yavamis. I did learn Ha'olel, and Kedushin, and the Kedushin Sugis over there. Okay, we know you could call the Gemara Kesubos also that there's an assay from. We know there's an Isa assay of Mitzri and Admei for the first two generations. Okay, maybe I'm confused. Okay, or I don't know, but do we know of anything in the Gemara in Yevomis or in the Gemara in Kedushin that talk about these two lavim? What the lav is to apply the assay to them, and by knowing the Torah from the assay, we know the Torah from the lav. No, what's up there? What's he saying? The lav is to apply the assay for more generations? And Imam is saying over the chinuch? How can you say, how can one in the right mind say that the dinim of this lav, I'll take anyone, any base medrash who's learning Ha'orel, okay, and ask him, who state the dinim from the lav of Loisasayev in Ha'orel or in Kedushin? It's only talking about the assay. Unless that's the lav to apply the assay for more generations. The assay to misinterpret. In other words, let me ask you a different question, okay? There's no, see, before we're talking about Joe the Mitzri or Harry the Adoimi, you say you don't want to marry him because he's from this despicable yichus, okay? Now, let's say we're talking more on a theoretical level. We're sitting in the base medrash, and we're being done, Mitzri, do Rishon, do Sheni, do Shlishi. And I say, no, I want to ask a Shlishi, Levi, Chamishi, or something like that. There's no Mitzri. There's no Admei over here. Maybe you violate the law for that also? What? It's pushing. Nit good uploading. You mamish make a mistake in learning and you violate a law. I'm just telling you, I personally think this is like an amazing thing. Ukvar hisbaru mishpatei shtei mitzvos elu kloima mishpatei mitzri. If you didn't know what the shtei mitzvah were talking about, kloima. It's what are the two mitzvahs talking about? Last two mitzvahs, okay. Kloima, it's clear. Mishpatei mitzri ve'ademi. About the dinim. These are mitzvahs elu. Okay. So, Mitzvah Hashem, next week, we'll take care of this. You think this was easy or this was difficult. The next lav, I want you to know, okay, there's a lav of Mahashlim im Amoin Umoyav Lo'ilam, okay? And we'll see what that is in Mitzvah Hashem next week. We should have a Freilich Chanukah, and what I can tell you is that the tefillah, that thesis, was in all the gainim, and I think most of the shayim, which thesis excites in the tefillah, that we say at the end of Al Nisim, Kishem she'osa kodesh she'osa nisim niployes. Vayom lo'im as marazeh kein aseh lonu neis v'fela be'oin be'eis v'oin azeis. The Rebbeinu Shalom should mekayim that, and we should see nisim in the place.